we're going to ring the bell. And she tells us she's ready. Yeah, go ahead and ring the bell and speak your announcement.
Good morning. Good morning. Bob and I are so delighted to see so many people this morning. Good morning again, and welcome to the Treasure Coast Unitarian Universalist Congregation in Stuart, Florida. Today is November the 6th, 2022. My name is Janet Rader, and I will be your worship associate for today. As most of you know, and perhaps all of you, we are a welcoming congregation. We welcome people of all gender identities, ethnicities, ages, and backgrounds. And it's wonderful to see all of our vaccinated members and some visitors also. And we're also on YouTube. To be put on our mailing list and to find out more about all the activities in the church, we invite you to go to our website at tcuuc.org and note the email link to request our online newsletter, which comes out Friday afternoon. Please silence your cell phones if you have not already. If we have any visitors who are comfortable coming up to the microphone to introduce yourselves, we would love to have you do that at this time.
I haven't sat down yet. Well, this is actually my third time here in the last year, so maybe this is the last time I'll come up and introduce myself. But my name is David Whitcomb, and I live in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and will be eventually retiring down to Palm City. So nice to be back.
Do we have anyone else who would like to come to the microphone? Big thanks to those who helped with the service, Jackie Robbins for the music in a few minutes, our greeters and ushers, our host, Karina Poloni, who is backstage, and our tech wizard, Chris McGann. Since many of us will be heading to the Jensen Beach Congregational Church to join Pat Burt for the services for her husband, Joe, immediately after the service, it is assumed that a much smaller group will be here for coffee. But Marguerite has told me that they will provide some coffee for this morning for any people who might stay. And she also had a reminder that coffee is now being served in Heston Hall, where we'd like to gather after the service as opposed to in the narthex. Thank you to Marguerite Gregory and Jackie Buckley for the coffee this morning. Some of our announcements with regard to our activities, which you can always find in the Friday update. Let me start by mentioning what a good time was had Friday evening when Richard's son, who is a member of the Backwater Saints, performed for a full audience in Heston Hall. I think everybody was delighted with the group. It seemed that everybody was having a good time. So, that's just what we would want to have happen. Let's see, new activities that you might not, well, this was in the Friday update, but things that have not happened every single week. The green team at the church is going to meet Wednesday at 2 o'clock for a planning session for projects to improve the outdoor space. And a big announcement, the Adventure Club is back, and we are thrilled that Fred is taking the leadership of this up again. You can see a detailed listing of the activities on the website and just the Friday update. Excuse me. The first activity is Thursday, November the 17th, and involves lunch and a trail walk in the D.J. Wilcox Nature Preserve in Fort Pierce. You should sign up also in the Narthex to let him know that you're planning to join this activity. Also, the Sunday before Thanksgiving, which is November 20th, there'll be a Thanksgiving dinner here in Heston Hall after the service. And Pam, can you wave your hand? And Pam is taking a list of the dishes that people are planning to bring. Potluck. And now we will have our prelude with Jack.
One more thing.
Oh, this, okay.
One more thing. Yeah, just that Joe Ginacaro's play, A Few Good Men, I mean, he's in it. I promised him we would say during the announcements. It's at 2 o'clock at the Treasure Coast Theater, which is right near the Bell store on Federal Highway. Though anyhow, he's not here, so I'm just telling you, he'd be happy to see you in the audience. 2 o'clock today, and then a number of other times, if you care to look that up. Cards are in the back. Thank you.
And Bob had already given me that information, which I promptly forgot. So sorry about that. Okay, lots of times Joe is here, but I don't see him this morning. Now the prelude, yes.
Before, is this on? Can anyone hear me? Okay. I just wanted to announce, before I play, that the Treasure Coast Youth Symphony, which is local and nonprofit, is playing the first 3 Mondays. Locally, it's at Morningside Church. I'm going to leave these, and if anyone wants a card, just come. I have a few with me. Morningside Church in Port St. Lucie. New Hope Fellowship Church in Palm City is November 21st. November 14th was the first one. And November 28th at the Good Shepherd in Tequesta. The churches have come up to help out a lot because the Lyric Theater charges way too much money even for a nonprofit. Phooey on them. And that's it. Now I'll play a prelude.
Thank you, Jackie. And now the chalice lighting. When it's time for me to be worship associate, I'm always delighted if our UU World magazine has just arrived. Since my husband and I are new UUs, we are, of course, not used to this, but there always is an interesting theme and, great magazine. My chalice words and my opening words come from the fall-winter 2022 edition of UU World, which arrived just days ago. The focus of this edition is facing the climate crisis. A new view of religion is compatible with a different understanding of our relationship of interdependence and interconnection with the rest of the natural world. And my opening words, in an article entitled Writing the Relationships, Embracing an Indigenous Worldview of Climate Change, the author, Nazora Menka, who serves as a supervising attorney at the Environmental Law Clinic at UC Berkeley School of Law, writes that at the center of this worldview, all things are connected and interconnected, dependent and interdependent. The ask from indigenous peoples is simple, but comes with a complex answer. Let us steward the land. Let us right the relationship. Assist us in these endeavors. Return to us our stolen land, ancestors, languages, and children, so that we can heal ourselves and the earth. We need not continue to extract, take, remove, sell, covet, own, profit, or destroy. Another story is possible if we just listen to the past and allow it to take us into the future. And now we will sing our first hymn, Holy, 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 3 verses. Stand if you like, or if you would like to remain seated, that is fine also. And now our affirmation. We speak the first verse and sing the second. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Let
This is our time of sharing joys and sorrows. We hope that as people tell us what they're experiencing, living with, they will know they are heard and supported. We ask that you keep them brief and personal. Who has a matter like that to share? We invite you to come to the microphone right here.
I'm Fred. I have a joy and a sorrow. My sorrow is that I'm home from Grand Forks, North Dakota, where I was last Sunday at 401 Belmont, where my son-in-law had, and my daughter and grandson had over 1,500 trick-or-treaters. And I was a wizard, Bubba the Bold. And my joy is that my lovely wife, Rana, right there, she's getting better. She had to get her head examined last week, but I've told her, you know, that should have happened a long time ago. But she's getting better.
Anyone else? Were you coming up, Judith?
How can I follow that? Don't even try. Right. I'm Judith, and it's a mixed thing this morning. Today is my sister's birthday, Tia, and the reason that she is not here is because last week a very close friend took her on a birthday celebration on a cruise to the Caribbean. Yes, aboard the Symphony of the Seas with 6,000 people and 1,500 crew. And they, of course, ran around the Caribbean escaping the hurricane. Well, she arrived home Saturday, just yesterday, and she, of course, came home with COVID. So she is at home watching this. Happy birthday, Tia.
Anyone else?
I have two joys. I'm Jackie. First joy is that Gail McCarthy is on the mend, and I visited her numerous times, and she's actually doing pretty well. Some days are good, some days are bad. The other joy is that my brother-in-law, Mr. Elmar Oliveira, was the recipient of a Lifetime Achievement Award in the Arts on Thursday night at the Martin Arts once-a-year thing.
Anyone else? Joe, I announced your play this morning in the announcement time. Did you want to add to that?
Oh, all right. Then I just want to add, we opened Friday, and so far we've played to within 1 or 2 seats of full houses, and we only have 3 seats to go today. So we're looking good. And yeah, if anybody wants to know anything about it, I'll be in the lobby after services. But happy to say it's going very well. Yeah.
I saw Joe at Walmart the other day. He wasn't mumbling to himself, so I knew that he had his lines down. Anyone else with a matter of joy or sorrow to share? Well, we keep Pat Bird in mind. She's at the other church getting ready for the service, which will be at 1 o'clock. She lost her husband, Joe, after a long illness. She wouldn't mind my adding, of course, that she lost her other best friend, Ginger. So Pat has experienced a lot of loss, and we'll be there to support her at the services. Many of us will be at the service this afternoon. Anyone else? Then I'll ask someone to move a stone for those that we don't say out loud. The reading is by Mark Bellatini in the back of our hymnal. Go in peace, live simply, gently, at home in yourselves. Act justly, speak justly, Remember the depth of your own compassion. Forget not your power in the days of your powerlessness. Do not desire to be wealthier than your peers, and stint not your hand of charity. Practice forbearance. Speak the truth or speak not. Take care of yourselves as bodies, for you are a good gift. Crave peace for all people in the world, beginning with yourselves, and go as you go with the dream of that peace alive in your heart. Mark Bellatini. And now some moments of silence. Spirit of Life, hymn 123, is like our theme song. We hum a verse, we sing the verse. We hope that people experience here joy, generosity, and just an uplifting spirit. And now we invite you to share your generosity so we can go on being, we hope, those good things. And now there's a video that I think you'll enjoy. It's a song, music we've heard before, and we know it. But it seemed to me like a good time to hear it again. We are patient. Forbearance. We want children here, and we will get them any way we can. We have a number of new people with us today, or newish people, and we're always happy for that. And when we have new people here, I always want to say that if you wonder about UU, if you turn to the 7th page in the hymnal, they're not numbered, you have to count to the 7th. And on the 7th page is a list of our principles. We don't have a creed, we have principles. And what we do here is try to encourage each other to live up to them. So you can find them if you want. Most people who come here come from a different religious background. I'm just curious, how many people here were raised UU? Raised UU? Yeah, a few. Most have another faith or denomination in their background, and we hope people will build on that, not give that up, but build on that here with us. And as I say, we're happy to suggest how you might do that. The series of sermons that I'm doing, Things We Could Lose, reflect some panic I'm feeling about the oncoming election. But I don't share panic with you, I share concerns. The topic today is diversity. The topic at the end of the series is sanity next Sunday. So I'm hoping to have some next Sunday. A long time ago, I invited a doctor to come and speak to my confirmation class of 8th graders on Long Island. I asked him to talk about the wonderful machine called the human heart. He came to the class with a heart on a plate. It looked like Jell-O. I think it was really Play-Doh with some tubes sticking out the top and the bottom. He had made it pretty much to a reasonable facsimile. I thought of that for today because if I had access to such a visual, a jiggling replica of a human heart, I would have one up here today. Of all the things I've heard that are on the ballot in 2 days, if not stated, certainly inferred, is what I consider the heart of UU, diversity. Soon after the axe fell on Roe v. Wade, it was whispered that marriage equality was next. We all know the world is changing. Rishi Sunak, a Hindu, may be the new British Prime Minister. And Miss Argentina and Miss Puerto Rico may be wife and wife. But America just might prefer Groundhog's Day in the 1950s. That Bill Murray film was a comedy. The situation we are in, many people who think they are patriots not wanting us to move into the future, is anything but funny. What's a good UU to do? America has struggled with diversity forever. Do you remember when women were a minority? I don't either. I've always worked in churches. They were always the majority there. But women were often called a minority. And hopefully on Tuesday they will show loudly and clearly they are not. And the guy running for Congress in Georgia who said giving women the vote was part of our problem today will hopefully discover that it is his problem. The Lilly Ledbetter law, equal pay for both genders, is pretty recent. And there is an effective ad on TV. I watch whatever one comes on. That's not a political ad. There's one I'm referring to is of a professional-looking man and a professional-looking woman saying they do the same job, but her pay is 20% less, or something like that. The old bull that a woman's job is auxiliary income is just not true, but it's not history yet. And how much we have to learn about the minority who started in America as slaves and free men and women, then Negro and or colored, then African American, then black. Henry Louis Gates of Harvard keeps educating us. Most recently, the wonderful documentary on PBS, Making Black America Through the Grapevine, what I got from that was how good the blacks of America were at networking and promoting each other in a hostile environment, North and South. Barbershops, beauty pageants, schools, even baseball leagues, until Jackie Robinson couldn't be thrown out. One proud young black woman said, no disrespect to Africa, but she didn't want to be called African because she's only known America and considers herself 100% American, as much as anyone can be. Speaking of the blacks' gift for organizing, 2 PSs. About an hour after the mother of that beautiful murder victim, Emmett Till, that's a must-see movie, Till. About an hour after she learned that her beautiful child was killed visiting relatives, NAACP organizers were at her door to encourage her to make his horrific murder in Mississippi a lesson for all America to learn in 1955. Her courage said yes, and the piece her courage added was that his horribly beaten, disfigured face had to be seen. The movie ends. This isn't a giveaway of the ending. We all know the ending. But it ends with her seeing his beautiful face, a 14-year-old in his room, a vision. And we and history cannot forget 2 faces of Emmett Till, and we shouldn't. Gates' series, Making Black America, their gift for networking and organizing, Behind the Veil, they kept calling it, Behind the Veil, reminded me that 2 small black denominations, AME and AMEZ, African Methodist Episcopal, the Episcopal, of course, means led by bishops, so AME and African Methodist Episcopal Zion, both denominations were organized in the late 1700s in New York. So free men and women could be free in church and in leadership in church. Facing discrimination in the new American denomination called the Methodist Church in New York, particularly in its oldest church there, called the John Street Methodist Church. John Street is near Wall Street in Manhattan. Free men and women chose and organized their own churches and denomination in 1796. And after the Civil War, went into the South to organize there. We have both AME and AMEZ churches throughout Florida and throughout America. Diversity came to the U.S. in waves of immigration throughout the 1800s. The Lady in the Harbor, our beloved Statue of Liberty, was a great message to the world. Give me your tired and poor, your huddled masses, yearning to be free. You can come here and, like the Chinese, lay our railroad tracks, but go home to huddle in ghettos, Chinatowns. Each ethnic has a story to tell of America's tainted welcome. Some of us lately were remembering the popularity of Polish jokes. And whenever I say those 2 words, I have to remember my late brother just couldn't give up Polish jokes. And he said to me, have you heard the latest one? And I said to him, did you know that the Poles had an empire once in Europe, a Polish empire? Thinking, you don't make fun of people that had an empire. He said, that's really a funny one. I haven't heard that one. So anyway, Polish jokes, Irish jokes, Italian jokes. What was no joking was the great American melting pot, where melding, as in blending together, hardly happened. I remember a date I had between my marriages. Do you mind my telling you about this? No. I took a young woman to a popular wine and cheese place in Comac, Long Island. Some guys who knew her came to the table and asked her if she knew another woman named Mary. One of them had begun dating. And one of the guys specifically said, "What ethnicity could that name Mary be?" No one seemed to know. So I, who knew none of them, chimed in, "Well, there was a Mary, Queen of Scots, and she could be Jewish. There was a rather prominent Jewish girl named Mary." An icy stare befell them, and they walked away. Fortunately for me, they just walked away. And that's all I'm saying about that date. The documentarian extraordinaire Ken Burns' series on the era of Prohibition in America taught us that that movement to turn America dry was laced with a strong anti-Catholic core because of the immigrant and wet, non-dry waves from Ireland and Italy. So the P in WASP might have stood for Protestant, but it was much more about power and prejudice than religion. Diversity in gender identities has been the most recent hurdle and breakthrough area. Polls show that Americans, and particularly young Americans, accept that there are gay people and there are straight people. And love and relationships are a challenge for everybody. In the past 50 years or so, religious denominations have contributed to breakthroughs of acceptance, and to continued denial of basic humanity to gay people. Among the major American denominations, the leaders of acceptance and welcome, who were leaders of acceptance and welcome for all, were the UCC, the United Church of Christ, called Congregationalist, which is like the one some of us are going to for Pat's service, Joe's service. The UCC, then the Episcopal Church, then the Presbyterian Church, and lastly, among the major denominations, the Lutheran Church, the largest one, the one called ELC. Ordaining known gay people to ministry was a wall coming down. Now, the holdouts, the shameful holdouts, have been the larger Protestant denominations. The Southern Baptist Convention, which is the largest of the Protestants, and next in size, the United Methodist Church. And lastly, the largest Christian church in America, the Roman Catholic Church. None of these, to my knowledge, have had the courage or the humanity to say there are gay people and there are straight people, period. The Bible, which nurtures me spiritually, has also been a bastion of ignorance on these matters. You can say the Bible says just about anything you want it to say to support a prejudice you don't want to hold up to the light or to history. A shattering of my prejudice about gays came with a gay lecturer I heard in Birmingham, UK, in the 1990s. He had us open to a chapter in the Hebrew scripture book of laws, Leviticus. One verse in chapter 13 sounded like two people of the same gender lying down were committing sin. And 3 verses later in the same chapter, we all read, a child who curses his parents shall be put to death. And the teacher simply said, have you ever heard that second verse quoted as a divine word for all time? No, certainly not on Mother's Day. So that book has all manner of dated, time-bound observations that have to be seen as history and buried there. Sadly, religion and thinking and religion have not often gone together for too many people. That was then, this is now. What has been groundbreaking, heart and faith stretching for many of us is the realization we have family members, and surely friends or the offspring of family and friends who are gay or trans. And what do we want their lives to be? Not hiding or hurt by the small-mindedness of anyone. Let people be who they are. It's not easy making family and relationships work. If we were loved and raised by people who somehow conveyed, find yourself and be yourself, we know that's the best we can do, and what we surely want for people we care about. Find yourself and be yourself. So in closing, is diversity on the ballot Tuesday? I've already voted and I didn't see it there. But I read and I've read about people in the running who want us to be a backward nation. I'm a little troubled when I hear the president say, we're Americans, we can do anything. I just hope we can't undo everything and take us back to some ideal time that really never was. Our closing hymn is number 94, What is This Life? 3 verses, 94. Let's stand if we're willing and able. Please be seated. Our closing words are from Nancy Wood in the back of the hymnal. Hold on to what is good, even if it is a handful of earth. Hold on to what you believe, even if it is a tree which stands by itself. Hold on to what you must do, even if it is a long way from here. Hold on to my hand even when I have gone away from you. Nancy Wood. English? for Hurricane